Hey, what's up, Visionaries? Welcome back to the Archvision Fan Jam. My name's Anton. Hopefully all of you guys are having a fantastic day, because today's song request, of course, comes from Liza, one of our two Kelly Clarkson girls on the Patreon. And yeah, she was also the one that did Move You a couple months ago. I think it was a couple months ago. But anyway, this is Kelly Clarkson, Meaning of Life. And yeah, we'll see what Liza comes up with next. Are you going to come up with another Kelly Clarkson song, or maybe something unique and different? But anyway, before we get into this one, I do want to say you guys rock. Thank you for all love. Also, if you guys want to support the channel at the same time, request songs and albums, and gain access to exclusive full album reactions uncut, definitely join the Patreon family, everyone there. And of course, shout out to my patrons. Thank you guys so much for all the love and all the support. I love you guys. I know you know that. So keep all the requests coming. And lastly, if you want to hang out with myself and the entire Archvision community, we're on Discord nowadays, so find us there. And also links to that and official merch if you're interested. So without further ado, let's get into Kelly Clarkson, Meaning of Life, Nashville Sessions.
Baby, I've been living in the dark. The only friend I got here's my broken heart. Feeling like I finally had enough.
Soul.
Living like an animal can be so rough. I've been waiting for so long for you to come my way. Now I can't wait another day. When you hold me, I finally see. When you say love, I know what it means. I was broke down so long in the dark until you showed me the light, baby. When you kiss me, I know who I am. And when you let me feel it, I understand. When I'm lost, I just look in your eyes. Show me the meaning of life, meaning of life, life.
I got chills, man.
Show me the meaning of life, meaning of life, life. Show me the meaning of life. Every time I spend.
Yeah, this is definitely this is my favorite Kelly Clarkson stuff for sure. It's got the soul, man. Like, I loved Breakaway, and then My December, you guys know I loved My December lyrically. Wasn't a huge fan of it sonically, aside from Sober and Maybe. I think, and Never Enough. I think those were the three songs that stood out, but everything else was kind of like hit or miss for me musically. But lyrically, again, that was just, the whole thing was important. And that album reaction was more like a psychological analysis of Kelly than anything else. And then Breakaway, I love, like Hear Me, Breakaway, Because of You, which I want to revisit live, because now I had no clue what the lyrics were about the first time we heard it. And now every time I hear it, I go, man, I wish I knew that. Because now I can relate to it. Now I know what she's talking about with knowing the background of what she's been through. And about, yeah, how that song's about her mom. So I want, so again, maybe Liza, maybe recommend Kelly Clarkson Because of You, a live version or something. Yeah, because I'd love to check that out. But anyway, man, just soulful Kelly is like, hits me right here in a way that the other stuff doesn't quite. Like, I love it. I love everything, like, you know, like Breakaway is an incredible record, but I don't know, this stuff just like, maybe because I resonate with this human being in front of me more, right? I relate to this person more. She's less jaded. She's more optimistic. She's more hopeful. She's more at home in herself. She has less questions, you know? Just like I have less questions. I used to ask so many questions. I used to be obsessed and addicted to needing to know the meaning of life, to needing to know things. And I realize now it was just an addiction. To the fear of uncertainty, the fear of the unknown. And now I feel like I have a lot more in common with Kelly, and listening to this stuff and just hearing her just go for it, and again, we know where this leads up and it sucks, but there must have been something real here, because I don't know, like, we'll talk more about this at the end, but let's get back into this.
Life, show me the meaning of life, meaning of life.
the background vocals. Love the drumming too.
Show me the meaning of life. You show me love. You lift me up. You take me higher and higher. The truth is I'm in love. Can you feel us? We're flying higher. Oh, you show me love. You lift me up. You take me higher and higher. The truth is I'm in love. Can you feel us? We're flying higher. Meaning of life, 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 life. Show me the meaning of life. Meaning of life, 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 life. Show me the meaning of life.
Damn.
Show me the meaning of life. Show me the meaning of life.
Oh, I loved when she ended that on a deep note, the meaning of life. That's not what she sounded like, but you guys know what I'm talking about. But anyway, I want to say in that, I want her to sing this live from a new perspective when she meets that person who actually, you know, call it a soulmate, call it a, you know, a whatever the hell you want to call it. But when she finds, you know, that partner who's going to be her side, be by her side, you know, either when, you know, he's on his deathbed or she's on her deathbed, I want her to sing this about him, you know? Because the thing that sucks is, I guess, a matter of interpretation perspective, because it actually doesn't suck when you look at it from a higher vantage point. But for the sake of the argument, what sucks is that so many of these songs that are so passionate, so pure, so beautiful, so soulful, so meaningful, have taken a turn with what's happened with her husband. You know, I think you guys mentioned, I think he cheated on her and then he's doing some stupid shit financially and everything. But anyway, it's like this song is so beautiful, and hearing her sing this song is so beautiful, and it moves you so much. And I would hate for her to not be able to sing this anymore, because it's a lie to her, or it's too hurtful. Like, cause yeah, she might view this as a lie, when I want her to be able to sing this like this again. You know what I mean? With that emotion, that hope in her eyes. You know what I mean? And this is something I wanted to say too. Human beings are flawed. I think, I don't know, flawed, I don't know if it's the right word. I don't even know what the true meaning of flawed is, but we're so dynamic, might be the real word. But it's like, the man that she wrote this about, I think his name's, I forget his name. Let's call him Brandon. Was it Brandon or whatever? But anyway, this man, right? She writes this, she looks into his eyes, and she's presented with, you know, the meaning of life. She looks in his eyes and she realizes that all the wrongs of her life are actually right. That they led her to this moment. That, you know, the trauma with her dad, the trauma with her mom, all these things, heartbreak, being cheated on, being fucked over, led her to this moment. And in this moment, everything's perfect. You know what I mean? That's true. That's the way I look right now in my life. I'm like, all the shit I went through, failed relationships, trauma, abuse, all that kind of stuff, it led me to now. And it led me to exactly who I want to be. This is exactly who I want to be. You know what I mean? It's like, I can't relate to some of you if I didn't go through what you've been through. That's where wisdom comes from. Wisdom, the most, like, you can't have a wise person without them going through some heavy, dark shit. That's the whole point. That's what wisdom is. Wisdom is not knowledge, wisdom's experience. Wisdom can have knowledge, because knowledge and experience go hand in hand. Like they say there's two ways to reach enlightenment. The positiva and the negativa. So the positiva is you read and you acquire so much knowledge that at some point it just clicks. And you know what the meaning of life is. You just understand it. You've gathered enough worldly information by traveling, by reading, by talking to people, all these things, that it just suddenly clicks and you go, I get it. That's me. I was a positiva. That's how I reached. I'd never call myself enlightened or even close, but what I understand about life came from knowledge, I'll say. The opposite is the Buddhist monastery thing. That's called the negativa. That's when you act, because again, these people are meditating for 15 hours a day, right? They're not reading many books. Where's their information coming from? It's coming from the negativa. It's emptying themselves and connecting with God, connecting with Source, connecting with the universe, whatever label you want to put on God. It's about emptying themselves so they're just a vessel for the divine to flow through and experience itself through. That's where they will come up with the exact same information as someone who's reached enlightenment through the positiva way. But they'll just do it in a very different way. They'll connect straight with Source. They'll have those downloads come to them. Where, in essence, I guess, what the positiva does is it connects with those who have experienced the negativa, right? Like, for me to read a book, I have to gain that information as someone who's wiser than me, right? So I learn it from a Paul Chek, right? He's one of my big kind of mentors. So I learn all my shit from Paul Chek and Ben Greenfield, Aubrey Marcus, people, Sadhguru, Dalai Lama, Gandhi, stuff like that, right? I read all of them. And then Paul Chek, in turn, he's also positiva. He's mentioned. So he's learned that from, the Buddhists, the Egyptians, that kind of stuff. And then after a certain point, maybe those people are also positivas. They learn from someone else. But everything comes from a genesis point. At the end of all this information is a negativa, is a Buddhist monk who just meditated and the answers to life came through them. And they wrote that book that everybody else has learned from, in a sense, right? In maybe essence, that's what the Bible is, in some respect. But that's just, I don't know how the hell I got onto this. Wisdom. Something about Kelly being wise, which she is. Again, and she is she's an interesting one. She's definitely someone who I feel learns from experiences a lot. Learns a lot about life from experiences, which on the positiva side of things, that's pretty heavy on me too. I learn a lot from experiences. Half and half. I'm also a scholar. That's kind of my archetype too. I do a lot of research. I listen to 2 hours of podcasts every single day, right? And then I have my own podcast, which have on entrepreneurs and spiritual people and all that kind of stuff. So I learn a lot from that. I'm always learning, probably 2-3 hours a day. So I definitely can't say it's all from experience, but usually what happens is the information I acquire doesn't mean anything to me. I get it cognitively. I understand nature of the universe or something from a cognitive standpoint, but I don't feel it. I don't live as if that's true. I don't. Because if I did, I wouldn't have my petty jealousies, my petty insecurities. I wouldn't be anxious about my YouTube channel. I wouldn't be anxious about money coming in and all that stuff, right? Like anybody that claims to be enlightened or claims to understand, or just look at where are their anxieties? If they have anxieties about material things, then yeah, they're not enlightened. That's not a bad thing. What's the percentage of people that are enlightened? And even then, enlightenment is a process. Like even Deepak Chopra, is an asshole sometimes. Even Jesus had a temper, right? Like, these people are not perfect. Nobody's perfect, but I think what we consider enlightenment is just someone who is enlightened more often than they're not, right? So even the Buddhists in the monastery, they have moments where they get angry, likely. Definitely, 100%. Especially if they come down to reality and they start interacting with us, they will probably get frustrated at the high pace of our society and all these things. But I'm actually not even getting, this is literally right brain thinking. I learned a couple weeks ago that there's essentially like the two hemispheres of your brain, right? Anytime that you go down like a wormhole, like I just did, and then sometimes if you don't understand yourself too well, you'll apologize. You'll say, hey, sorry for getting off topic, right? But one thing I've learned is that there's no such thing as off topic. In a sense, or if you get off topic, it's nothing to be apologizing for, because the left brain is on track thinking. Anytime I can speak for 5 minutes to 10 minutes and give you a single track thought, that's pure left brain. There's no right brain in there, because the right brain is all about connections and it's non-linear thinking, right? So anytime that you're in a conversation, you're in a podcast, you're in a job interview, you're in anything, and you notice you've went on and you've got away from what the genesis point was of the conversation, don't apologize. That just means that you're more heavy in your right hemisphere of thinking. And that's actually a beautiful asset, because almost every single creative person lives in their right brain. You can't come up with art in your left brain. You can come up with art in your right brain and then bring the logical deciphering mechanisms of the left brain to piece it together, to break it into verse, chorus, bridge. Like, if you look at music is actually an incredible symphony of right brain and left brain thinking, because the genesis, the idea of art, comes wholly from the right brain. But then a lot of the time, to make a hit, to make something that is decipherable to a normal human being, because most people live in their left brain in our society, we have a completely dominant left brain society right now. Like, go to the ancient Egyptians and even Aboriginal tribes and stuff, indigenous tribes, they are mostly right brain thinking, especially the Egyptians. But you look at like our society, very left brain. So how do you interact with the left brain? You have to make sure that there's easily decipherable symbols, artistic pieces, all that kind of stuff. So that pure artistic idea is right brain, but then you have to bring the left brain to cut it into quadrants, ideas. You have to add repetition. You have to consciously look at what you've done and make it more presentable, because if you don't make it presentable, the left brain will just lose interest, right? The right brain will love it. You get some symphonies, some operas, that's right brain, right? And again, they add some left brain to turn it and stuff, but that crazy wild idea, those connections that you get, is all the right brain. So anyway, so that's what I'll say about that. But pretty much back to this, just to summarize my thoughts. I love this era of Kelly. I love the soul. I love the instrumentals. I love just the different use of orchestration. I love that kind of bluesy drumming, that just full of feeling, loved it. And Kelly's voice has absolutely got better with age. Incredible. She's such a magnificent vocalist. And yeah, I want her to be able to sing this about, someone not just new, but lasting. I want her to be able to sing this song about her husband 20 years into their relationship. And to her to sing it with this amount of passion. That's what I want. And something else I wanted to say before I not got off track, but actually went on a different track. I wanted to say that when it comes to a song like this, when she's singing so deeply and passionately about this partner, this lover, this man that she trusts with all her heart, I think that was real at some point. Oh, and this is why I talked about the dual nature of people, because look, I fucked up. I've been abusive. I've been a shitty brother to my brother and my sister. Terrible brother. Because of the cycle of abuse from my father, right? It's like, I got abused, so I needed a way to equalize that pain. And so the only way to do that was to, be an asshole to my brother, to my sister. And then now we have this very fractured family that I take full ownership of, that I was very much a part of that. And then at the same time, I'd like to think I'm a decent human being. I still fuck up sometimes. I still make mistakes. I still tell white lies sometimes. I still flat out lie. Sometimes if I'm afraid, if I'm put in a position where I'm fearful, you know what I mean? If, there's things I still lie about. I'm not proud of it, but I'm not perfect. You know what I mean? I still sometimes treat people as ends, as means, right? I still treat some relationships as transactional that I shouldn't. Sometimes I, become insecure and I'm not there for people, right? Because when you're insecure and fearful, you're only there for yourself. You're self-preservation, you're in fight or flight, right? So there's parts of me that are not great, but I'd like to think that the intention of who I am is positive. I think that I want to bring love into this world, that I want to impact you guys, that I want to, be a good father, be a good husband one day, be a good friend, be a good brother one day, be a better son, all these kind of things. But also at the same time, yeah, I screw up. So I don't want to believe that her ex-husband is a bad person. I want to believe that he's a man who lost his way. That what this song was about was true. Because this is so beautiful. Part of me is there has to be something real here. There just has to. This can't all be a fabricated lie that he was setting up from day one. Oh man, I don't believe that. I feel like the relationship lost its way because Kelly's not perfect either. Nobody's perfect. Kelly probably has a temper. You know what I mean? She probably, got cold. He might have made the first cut. He might have made the first mistake. She might have, went cold. And then he has a harder time, feeling that connection. And then he becomes more distant and more distant and more distant and more distant till he feels cold in the relationship and he becomes afraid and all these things. He starts to fear about the kids and about the relationship and about divorce and about all the social and financial reasons that come to that. So he thinks, he probably doesn't even think about it, but he probably just has a connection with another woman, maybe at a coffee shop, maybe she's a waitress or something, or maybe they work together on a song and he feels a connection with her that he no longer feels with Kelly, and one thing leads to another. And again, I'm not excusing that, but I don't think it does us any good to believe that people are just monsters. That, if you fuck, because the thing is, we're all one step away from fucking up. If you don't have compassion for other people, how are you going to have compassion for yourself when you fuck up? Because we all will. Everybody fucks up. Sure, maybe I'm not going to cheat, but I'll probably cheat in some way in life. You know what I mean? Again, because cheating is just lying. At the end of the day, that's just what it is. It's just lying to yourself, lying to your partner. At its core, it's betrayal, let's say. Yeah, I'm sure I've betrayed somebody, in the last year. I'm sure I've lied to someone. I've definitely lied to people this year, 100%. You know what I mean? It's because who doesn't, right? And I'm sure 99% of you are thinking, I'm with you, Anton. I feel you. I'm in the same boat. And 1% of you are okay, maybe 0.5% of you are actually enlightened to the point where you're like, oh, I don't lie at all. But then you're also so enlightened that you've forgiven me already. And you're just and it's okay if you do. Because again, you're above comparing yourself with other people and judging. Because judging comes from that fear, that uncertainty. So then there's the 1% of you who are like, oh man, you've lied, you're a piece of shit, you're not perfect, fuck you. It's yeah, if you're coming from that perspective, you got so many demons that you're unaware of, because to judge another person means that you're not above that. It means that you've actually felt the same thing. So it's you're with me and you can relate, or you're not with me, which means that you are with me. Deep down, you're just unaware that you're actually with me. And that's it. So that's all I'll say. This is a long one. Again, good songs, emotional songs, thought-provoking songs got me going. So anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed this. What are your top 3 favorite Kelly Clarkson songs right now? Let me know. And what is your favorite era of Kelly Clarkson? Let me know in the YouTube comment section down below. And yeah, let's see if Liza and Merrick and some of the other patrons, Paul loves Kelly Clarkson too. Let's see if some of the patrons request more Kelly Clarkson or something equally as good. And that's about it. So yeah, if you enjoyed the video, definitely give it a like. I'd really appreciate that. And if you enjoy the content, subscribe. But it's up to you. And that's it. So I'll see all of you guys again tomorrow. I love you.